Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino for the next 3 hours here on a Monday. Loaded to the gills today. Could easily do 10, 12 hours of radio and TV. No problem. I mean, this is just, as I tweeted out before the show started and we discussed on Friday, I hate it when the regular season comes to an end in the NFL. But these shows kind of write themselves, and they're a blast to do. We have playoff numbers to get into for the wild card round, some very intriguing matchups. Draft order, futures. It is Black Monday. I can't believe who the Bears want to talk to. That's coming up in 15 minutes. Other coaches getting canned, best bets, win totals, and Paulie, good old contest sweats as well. How you doing?
All right. You all right? Fun weekend?
It's a good weekend.
Yeah. Best 20 minutes in Circa Survivor history. Probably the best 20 minutes in any Survivor contest.
How about the 3-hour window?
Yeah. The window was great. We didn't know how good those early games would be. They delivered. 2 overtime games. The sweat here, what happened in the final 20 minutes of those games, and the one guy in the catbird seat who used Arizona, there was a chance all those teams were going to lose.
Think about that for a second.
That was in play.
Yeah.
Because 8 on Atlanta, 5 on Tampa, 2 on Green Bay, 2 on the Colts. One guy said, I'm going late. I'm going to see if there's carnage. And he almost got it.
And that was the only easy game.
That's right. Good point. Great point.
So
Josh Dobbs, the last time we saw him, benched 4 interceptions on a Monday night game. Couldn't start him in a big game Sunday night against the Packers. They went with Hall, the rookie. That's how bad he was.
Yep.
And they throw him out there and are going up and down the field against Arizona. Finally, interception. Couldn't stop Arizona. They pull away. They win. Misleading score, but they cover. But yeah, right. Everything else, the 4 games early. Oh, I couldn't believe it.
Well, then,
it's
of course, then of the 8 people who were on Atlanta, you're thinking, my God, the last thing I want is overtime here. If this thing ends in a tie,
yep,
and people were hedging on Carolina money line, oh, how bitter would you be? You'd have nothing to show for it unless you were taking Carolina plus the points if that ends in a tie.
Yeah.
That's the nightmare scenario, unless, of course, they were found some big bomb numbers that they were betting a tie, and I'm sure down to 18 people, I think you had to do that.
Yeah, the drive was taken forever, and the tie was in play with the Colts game, too.
That's right.
They take the long field goal, and then the Colts set up for 3, but then they get the stop as well. Again, the Colts involved in craziness in Week 18
right?
With Survivor. And the Tampa game, how about if you had Tampa? You thought it was the easiest play. It was a great hedging opportunity, but Baker was 0-43 in his career, down double digits. Mm-hmm. And Rattler looks good. Baker has an interception. They can't score a touchdown in the first half. Then they finally come storming back. Can't be stopped, but still, play after play after play. The touchdown pass to McMillan. How does he make that throw? How does he stay in bounds and make the catch? They're backed up. He hits Evans 3rd and 8. It's 3rd and 14. He takes off and runs for 20 yards. It's just the Saints couldn't get off the field in the second half.
I mean, if you're watching that game, even if you're not even in the Survivor contest, the observation to me was this: the Buccaneers offense, who put 50 plus on the Saints the first time they met, and they've been a machine. Baker Mayfield had an incredible season. Offense is dynamite. So that looked like Oregon against Ohio State. Nothing came easy. Like, what game am I watching here?
Yep.
I get it. The Saints, it's a divisional game. They don't want to go out and get their brains bashing like that. They want to, give them some resistance and play the role of spoiler, much like Carolina was doing, and these other teams that we're talking about here.
Yep.
But nothing. I'm like, are these guys just completely tight, or is this all New Orleans today playing out of their minds and one of the best performances, like one of the, the first 2 weeks of the year for that team? So they couldn't run the ball. Mayfield was in trouble. He was getting harassed the entire time. The turnover, like you talked about, nobody was open the way it appeared.
Yep.
Like, what's going on? And then they're laying 12.5 or 13 for the second half, down 16-6.
Yep. And they punch it in to cover that too late with the touchdown, right?
Well, they also got Evans his incentive.
They did, yeah. And then the reaction. They wanted to get him that in the worst way and get the 1,000 yards. He spikes the ball.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Also, the Saints tried to do whatever they could to get MVS a touchdown.
Uh-huh.
The one that was called back, they took a shot to him again, where I think the toes were maybe a little bit out of bounds right there.
I thought that was a touchdown, like the Tyree catch.
That's what I thought.
He has it, crosses the goal line, and then it gets ripped off.
Sure.
And they had to settle for 3. But the other thing was the quarterback play. Geno Smith making $6 million in incentives, 4 touchdowns. Garoppolo was awesome. That was a fun game. Milton couldn't be stopped. Patriots blow the pick. Rattler played well. Lance was okay. Bryce Young was phenomenal. Rodgers goes out on a high note, and no one could stop Mariota once he came in.
That was a fun day.
Yeah.
Overall, that was a really, really entertaining, 6-7 hour window before the Sunday night game. And that first half was super dramatic. And it turned out to be a blowout. And all I can do is sit here and tip my cap to that coaching staff of the Detroit Lions. From the top all the way down. Dan Campbell's awesome. He's the man. I love the guy. Everybody knows about Ben Johnson as the OC. He can take whatever job he wants in the offseason if he wants it. But I thought Aaron Glenn was a star last night, the Lions defensive coordinator.
Yep, I owe him an apology. I didn't think that was possible. Bears, up and down the field against them. 49ers, up and down the field, no problem. Bills did whatever they wanted. And to think that they could do that in the red zone, you get Anzalone back, who had a great tweet. Everyone wants to be a dog until they have to do some dog bleep. And he showed the scar and the surgery. But for them, with all those guys out to play like that and hold Minnesota to 9 points, even though they were living in the red zone and O'Connell was horrendous, so was Darnold, that's an A-plus coaching job. To go 15-2 with all those injuries and get the 1 seed, and Aaron Glenn, he'll probably be a head coach also. If I back up a second, what did you think the chances were the Bears were going to make the field goal? After how many games they've lost and the issues they've had, and when they get the playoff again, which actually
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I was not higher than like 60-40 on it going in.
I thought for sure he'd miss. That's to sum up their season. And then how the game's over. I don't think LaFleur was going to call a timeout.
I don't think he was going to either.
He didn't call a timeout down to the 2-minute warning. Both quarterbacks were hurt. I think he was just going to punt on the game.
Yeah, so do I.
But then the Bears throw it and they fumble. And they're going to give the Packer backers a miracle win, it looked like, until he connects over the middle and they spike it and they finally have time.
The more I thought about that game over the weekend and 10s were still available, the number never made any sense to me. And now this is actually the way it unfolded yesterday. I don't know what the Packers were doing either. Pulling guys out of the game, trying to put them back in. What the hell's going on? The Commanders were trailing or in trouble for a lot of that contest.
Yes.
And I don't know, unless they're completely comfortable going in with this kind of form right now, playing Philadelphia this week, how could you be okay with that? It's like, no, I would rather go play the Buccaneers, actually. So, the Jacobs thing getting pulled early, Willis, then Love looked like he was warming up back on the sidelines again then.
Yeah.
And then Watson goes down with the injury, and they're probably thinking, okay, well, now no more of this. We're just going to, see how this goes. Doesn't matter. We're in the playoffs now anyway, so I guess we'll have to take on Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
But they are not playing good football at all. And I did not take Bears money line, though, yesterday. Did you have a slice of that?
I did not, no. I didn't think it could get there, but the fact that I was just stunned how do you give up the punt return?
The punt return just...
How does that work? They deke you out and
everybody fell for it.
They fell for it, right. 94 yards, untouched.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, it looked like he was
with
trying
a convoy.
He was trying to walk into the end zone.
Yeah, it was brilliant what happened. But Williams only throws for 140 yards, and they win the game. So it was a disaster. You can't improve your seeding. You go to Philadelphia. Watson's out for the year. Love's banged up. Willis gets hurt. And you lose to your rival, and the 11-game winning streak's over.
Well, and by the way, that number went to 5.5, back down to 4.5 here today. Adam Schefter tweeted out before the show. Now, I'm sure he's going to get cleared, but Jalen Hurts is still, currently speaking, he's still in the concussion protocol. I'm guessing he's going to we'll have news by, Tuesday, Wednesday probably.
Yeah.
That Hurts, maybe by tonight, who knows, that he's going to be good to go for the game.
Yep.
I want nothing to do with Green Bay in this game. I think it's a terrible matchup for him.
Yep. How about the Vikings?
It's tricky.
O'Connell, it's 31-9. Your quarterback is hobbling and limping. Get him out of the game,
I know.
Run the ball, and go home.
You
got a playoff game to get ready
But he doesn't do that, though.
It's ridiculous.
He remember, I go all the way back to the Jets game when they were playing overseas. They had a comfortable lead early on. Every single play, Darnold's still throwing it 30 yards down the field. You can dial it back here a little bit, pal. But I just thought Aaron Glenn was absolutely fantastic last night, and some of the individual players for Detroit on defense.
Yep.
I mean, it was just... But Darnold also tied in. Darnold was no good.
No, missed 4 throws there, touchdowns in the red zone.
That's right.
He's got Addison for a touchdown, doesn't see him. He's got Jefferson, bad throw, still could have made the catch. He had Jefferson on another route. He missed him. O'Connell was George Costanza again. Do the opposite. Down 17-9, 4th and 3, he kicks the field goal.
Yep.
No good. He wouldn't kick the field goal earlier in the game.
Baffling to me.
Yeah, 2nd and goal. Pass. 2nd and goal from the 3. Pass, pass, pass. Turnover on downs. 4th and 6, kicked the field goal, though. I mean, it didn't make any sense, and he still got Darnold out there. So he was horrendous. And where you can run the ball, too. Feel free to mix in a run. Pass.
Sportsbooks still have Coach of the Year up. And it's funny, two different people, same exact time before the show started, should I take some Dan Campbell? He's down to like 4-1 to win it. I don't know. I mean, all we heard going into the game was KOC's going to be Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Now voters going to change their mind because of one game?
Well, certainly Dan Campbell had an incredible season.
I know.
But there's a lot of great candidates out there. Huge news today.
Oh, gigantic.
Big. We're back to Sirius XM starting January 17th. VSiN's 24/7 program and available Sirius XM channel 158 and the Sirius XM app. And we will produce a new show, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Maher and Dustin, 7 to 10 a.m., 7 to 10 Eastern at Channel 82. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Radio every weeknight, 7 to 10. January 17th, channel 158, Sirius XM.
Make note of it. We're back, baby, on the 17th, channel 158. The good old days, huh?
That's right.
All right.
Cursing, fire alarms going off. Absolutely.
I know. How about this? Super Contest Gold, $5,000 an entry. They only pay out one winner over at the Westgate. Two people tied for it, 54 points. One person closed 2 and 3. The person who tied them went 4 and 1, had to have it, got it. One person went 3 and 2 to finish half a point back. They split $380,000. Killer.
Payout structures in these contests they got to change them.
Yeah, we'll go over latest coaches that have been fired, and also, again, what are the Bears thinking here?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time to kick around the college football semifinals now as longtime Vegas odds maker Nick Bogdanovich joins the program. He's also in the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Good afternoon, Nick. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing good, fellas. Yourself?
Doing really well. I said before the break, if we know you like I think we know you, you're going to be on the dog in this one specific matchup, and it's the Texas-Ohio State game. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, you guys do know me well. My number calls for a bet on the dog, but I'm probably going to pass. I mean, Ohio State's come with these two monster performances, and I'm not 100% sold on Texas anyway. So maybe if they got to 7, I'd probably take 7, but that's the only number I would take. But I made the game 4. But yeah, it's, listen, everyone overreacts. I mean, Ohio State's played 2 of the best games of all time. So the numbers are a little, it's a little inflated, but maybe they've hit their form and they're just going to, win this thing in a handride. I don't know, but I would probably be forced to take 7. Listen, playing in Texas is going to help Texas a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be comfortable. They're going to be, they're going to be disrespected by the point spread maker, and they're going to have all sorts of stuff going in there. There's a few intangibles going their way. So I think the number's right, but like I said, the only number I would take is 7.
Okay, fair enough. Now, do you remember, this is going back before Ohio State obliterated Oregon, and that game's like 34-0 before you could blink. Do you remember what you would have made the number before that game?
I do. It would have been like Ohio State won. So it's been it's quite a different story as of today.
How about the game Thursday? One book opened the total 50. Now we're at 45 with Notre Dame and Penn State and the Irish Lane 2.
Yeah, I it's funny. I when we first came out, I said my number was pick, but I said I wouldn't open it less than 2.5 if I was opening it, just because I know there's just going to be a slew of Notre Dame money. So I got a little bit of Notre Dame at pick. So I like the Irish in this game. I don't like the fact that they only got the week to prepare and the other team's got an extra 3 days.
Right.
But from what I'm reading, they're relatively healthy considering the beatings they've had some, the running back got nicked, the lineman. So I think they're going to be okay. I just think they just know how to win right now. I think they just believe in themselves. They believe in their coach. They believe in their quarterback. and they're going to find a way to win this thing. So it's more of a gut play than anything. I did make it the number pick, but I laid some pick, but now there's some 2.5, so I'm in good shape regardless.
What if Ohio State's impressive again and Notre Dame wins like a 13-10 game? What's the championship line?
Yeah, if Ohio State and Notre Dame play, considering they both look good, I'd have to say this game comes like probably Ohio State like 5.5 would be my guess.
So you would take the Irish at 7 then?
Oh yeah, that I would for sure.
Yeah.
See what they do with that total.
Well,
Interesting.
to Paulie's point, one book opened this game up, Penn State, Notre Dame, 50 or 50.5 down to 45. Like, where are the points coming from? If you go back and look at Notre Dame's 2 games in the playoffs, take away that 98-yard run against Indiana, they didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Riley Leonard threw for fewer than 100 yards last game. He's running the ball more than he is. Like, they're not doing anything on offense here, and the defense is awesome.
Yeah, that's what there's no question about it. It looks like an old New York Giants team with Belichick and them as the defensive coordinator. So, yeah, listen, Riley Leonard is a smart, I don't want to say game manager because he made some nice plays to close that game out. But, they're going to play field position, not make any mistakes, and hopefully run the football down your throat. And that game gets real short when that happens.
We do have Monday Night Football. It's FCS title game, Montana State and North Dakota State. Montana State undefeated in lane 3.5. North Dakota State's made the title game 11 of the last 14 years. What do you expect this to do with handle, and if you bet this?
Yeah, the handle will be good on this game. It's a high quality. Listen, the South Dakota States, the North Dakota States, and recently the Montana States of the world, they play good football. They can play with a lot of those, regular 1A schools. In fact, their point spreads their power ratings are higher than some of them. So I think the handle will be good. I think we opened this thing 3, got as high as 4, and it settled in at 3.5. I took 3.5, just the mere fact that North Dakota State's pedigree. I mean, this is an old hat for them. This is, Montana State's the one who's undefeated and trying to run the table. North Dakota State, this game, they'll be very comfortable playing in. They know each other well. So I took 3.5. I just think it'll be a close game the whole way. And it'll be a hell of a game. Everyone should tune in and watch this one. But, yeah, the handle will be nice on this game.
Yep. Okay, good. It should be. So Hall of Famer, you've seen it all, been doing this since 1984. Where did this season rank for NFL? Where you couldn't believe all the favorites that won. And we had a 17-1 straight up and 15-3 ATS run going into the early games yesterday.
Yeah, it was about as crazy a year as ever because the first 5 weeks there was nothing but crazy upsets, more than you could ever see in a million years. That's why the Survivor went down so fast. But then it hit a 7-8 straight week there where a favorite wouldn't lose. So it's the numbers stayed the same. So it was a crazy season of runs, and as usual, it usually evens out, and you saw a bunch of crazy stuff in week 18. So, but yeah, it was a wild one. But it's not, it's just the nature of this business. It's just a crazy business. You never know what's going to happen. That's why you play them, stay the course. Eventually, it evens out.
Yep. How was the overall handle in week 18 of the NFL here? And I'm guessing the people who were still alive in Circa Survivor with the hedging, the bets that were coming in were just nonstop and huge overall, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that's the brilliance of this contest. I mean, it's not only is the greatest contest in the world, but then they allow, they set it up where people can hedge here. So the handle was crazy. So, yeah, very exciting time. What a tremendous contest. And what was the final number? Because I was out sick today. How many people ended up winning?
8.
8 people. So what was it? 1.4 million each, I think?
7. 1.7.
1.7.
Yeah, incredible.
Yep.
What a story they have for the rest of their lives. But it's just it's 20 weeks of great action. I mean, it's just each week when you're in the Survivor and the longer you last, it's so exciting to figure out who you're going to pick that week and the strategy involved in it. So yeah, it's just a hell of a contest.
Very cool. Thanks, Nick. Great talking to you again. Have a good week.
All right, guys. Good luck.
There you go. He was on the Progressive Guest Line. I need to say this quickly about Circa. They graded out, and I haven't asked anybody about it yet. I wasn't going to ask Nick there to put him on the spot because I don't think you would probably know. But I bet the Lions to have the most wins here at plus 950 in the NFL. I was fully expecting it to be a dead heat with the Chiefs. They graded it out in full today.
Really?
I got the whole thing. The whole enchilada today was graded out in my account.
Interesting.
So I don't know if the tiebreaker was like point differential or if they just paid out in full on both sides. I don't know. They have so much stuff going on. I didn't want to reach out for the answer yet today, but I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that going into the account. That was rather refreshing.
That's a good one. But a lot of them coming up too. We'll recap. I don't see how you can top that in any contest with 20 minutes where there's $14 million on the line. One guy plays the late game with the Cardinals, and he almost had every total carnage in front of him. Atlanta loses 8 out. 2 Packers lose on the walk-off field goal. Colts go to overtime. Tampa's down 10 in the third quarter.
Not looking good
in the
at
game
all.
They have to right. And still, even though they had the lead, backed up inside their own 5, 3rd and long, first down. 3rd and 14, first down. How he makes the touchdown throw and catch to McMillan. I mean, it just give the Saints credit. They were live and they just too many field goals, but held them to 3 points in the second half. We almost had a scenario where everyone went out except the one individual with the Cardinals who actually could put his feet up in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
After they exploded. So 8 people split $14.2 million and go 20-0.
I mean, the people who were on the Colts, that was never, ever comfortable watching that game. And then you had the possibility of 2 games actually ending in a tie.
Yep.
They both went to overtime.
Packers game, yeah, right. That Packer game was crazy.
That'll be great for Derek Stevens when he's on the air tomorrow with us at 6:30 Eastern time. Like, how many bets, what were they offering for the, will this game end in a tie? Because if you're this deep, that's got to be part of the hedge, right?
Yeah.
Is that you're taking the points, you're probably sprinkling some on the money line. You're like, oh, by the way, tie's like 80-1 or something like that. I have to have it because if it ends like that and I don't, I'm going to drive to Hoover Dam.
Yep.
We will kick around NFL futures that have already cashed up next. A lot of the stuff that came in, including one player who was 100-1 to lead the league in this category.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN. The good.
Pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
The bad.
I've had it with this job. Got no food, got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
And the ugly.
First of all, that's horrible.
Wow, that was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen.
All quarterbacks for the good. We start with what happened Friday. Drew Mestamaker, North Texas, making his first start since the 9th grade. A bowl record for passing yards for the Mean Green. 393, 2 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown, and after he's throwing up in a garbage can on the sideline. What a story. And again, they were a 16.5-point dog and almost won the game because of this kid. Great story. Great
Throw it
job.
up much like Scatabo.
That's right. Puke and rally.
Yep.
That's right. Geno Smith, $6 million in incentives. And his teammates wanted it for him. He wanted it's like Byron Leftwich back at Marshall. Remember they had to carry him into the huddle and down the he couldn't even move out there at the end of the game. 20 of 27, 4 touchdowns, and they get that 10th win and he hits all the incentives. Garoppolo, 334 and 2 scores. Milton, 240 and 2 scores. Rattler looked great for 3 quarters. Lance was okay. Bryce Young was great. Mariota was awesome in the second half. And Rodgers goes out with a good performance and a Jets win. That's my good quarterback play all around.
Yeah, my good, the Sunday sweats. It was terrific. As we've documented several times on this show, just thinking about what it was like to go through for the survivor entries that were left, 18 of them here at Circa, with the payout over $14.2 million. The Packers-Bears sweat was awesome. The Tampa Bay-New Orleans game, dynamite. Carolina-Atlanta was a stellar NFL game, right? And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. I thought yesterday's action What a terrific way to close out the NFL season. It was so much fun.
Yep.
Which leads me into another good here of Bryce Young. Overall on the day, 25 of 34, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, 24 rushing yards, 2 more touchdowns. I can't believe I'm going to say this. After 2 years by Stroud and Young, we have to have the conversation.
It's a great coaching job, too.
Tremendous.
Canales did a great job, and sitting him on the bench and letting him learn, all that worked out. They had 44 points. They got guys out, too.
Yeah.
They're going up
That's
and down
right.
the field.
The Bryce Young couldn't play. He was the worst quarterback in the NFL, one of the worst anybody had ever seen. The Panthers knew that. Sat him. Maybe he can learn. And to that kid's credit, came out like gangbusters down the stretch and finished the season exceedingly well. Detroit Lions got to be on the good. Love this team in the summertime.
Yeah.
Without the injuries, I've said this before, they're an all-time football team. All-time good. If that team does, if Hutchinson's playing, turned into the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year before he got hurt. He was on pace to shatter the all-time record for pressures by defensive linemen. Who knows how good this team would be? But what a season, and I love the coaching staff. We all questioned Dan Campbell, right, when he took the job. You're going to be biting kneecaps. What the hell is this guy talking about?
Sure.
He's one of my favorite coaches in any sport.
Gotta
Love
give it
him.
up to him.
Yep, love the team. And Oklahoma City, 14 straight wins. They've been favored in all of them, and they are 12-1-1 ATS. Remarkable run. They get the Cavaliers on the road on Wednesday night. And I have...
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I took a 60-1 shot in OKC. I have it in pocket coming up a little bit later on.
All right. Well, that's my bad. Who makes the schedule in the NBA? For the only time Boston goes to OKC, which could be a finals preview, the game's at 12:30
On a Sunday.
going against the witching hour in the NFL. Why would you do that? It's one of the biggest games of the NBA regular season, and it's in the day, and it's going against the NFL. That was crazy. Oh, by the way, Boston scored 27 second-half points. I know you can question the shot selection and too many threes, but this OKC defense, that's ridiculous. Unbelievable.
By the way, so that game was on. We had made sure that game was on one of the TVs where we were at. You're right. Celtics were cruising in the second quarter to halftime.
Yeah, I think they had 65 at halftime. My bad. Both. It's the same thing. Atlanta and Miami. All this talent on offense. Both teams go 8-9. Coaching issues. Couldn't make the playoffs. Unacceptable. Atlanta in a bad division. Penix looked great. What was that defense? Come on. Get one stop, please. Score 38 points at home and you can't beat Carolina in a game you had to have. And again, Raheem Morris, remember, failed stops before this. No Belichick, no Vrabel. Yep. Raheem Morris, his area of expertise, defensive guy, sucked defensively. Terrible. And then Miami, all right, Tua got hurt, but still, how do you miss what happened to Huntley? So many poor decisions out there, bad plays. But you get Tyreek Hill pissed off. McDaniel did a lousy job.
Yep.
And you couldn't beat Tennessee at home on a Monday night. That's why you missed the playoffs as well. And the ugly, the Patriots, Lovie Smith Part 2. Out-tanked by a team that went 13-3 coming into the game. How does that happen? And then it gets worse. Kraft, did you have any input on how the team would play the season finale? No, he said. This can't be. Why did you keep him around to coach the final game? You knew you were going to fire him, so now you blow the number 1 pick by winning this game, and now you drop to number 4, and you don't get that treasure chest of picks, and you lose all that leverage. And for what? This happens every year. It blew my. And Houston did the same thing. If you're going to fire him before the game, and don't blow the number 1 pick, which is so valuable. F- by everyone with New England. That was ridiculous.
Yep.
And it starts with Kraft, too. You can't be the owner and say, maybe he's lying, but you can't say, I don't have any input on what we're going to decide to do. You fire him, you have an assistant coach and say, here, there's a nice check waiting for you if you blow the game. Because nothing's going to happen anyways. Because it goes back to Miami when Ross told, according to Flores, you get a $100,000 bonus for every game you lose. And then the league investigated it, and Ross said, I was joking. Okay, that's it.
Terrible job. They're my bad. So nobody wanted the number 1 overall pick, huh? It goes back to Jacksonville, the week they beat Tennessee, when Mac Jones was starting. They were in control of the number 1 overall pick at that time. and they won the game, and they dropped them. Like, what are you guys thinking? And then the Raiders somehow, but that's typical Raiders though, right? And Antonio Pierce want to win all these games. Go out and they win 2 games, and they drop. And then the Giants had the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and then they beat the Colts. And then what happened? We're getting people on social media saying, guys, they're paid pros. They still want to win the game. I understand. Guys want to go out there. They're going to be on film. They're playing for contracts. You're playing for your career, basically.
Did you watch the Cleveland Browns? That's how it's done.
Right. They could have played Jameis Winston down the stretch.
Yeah.
They said, hold on a second here. We have one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the league on our roster. Why don't we play him?
Yes.
Because that's going to give us the best chance to lose games. And when you watched Milton yesterday, you knew the kid was... That kid, from Jump Street yesterday, he was playing out of his mind. So, I just... So weird to me. And the ugly, as a result, the Titans get the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Ooh. All-time worst ATS team in history at 2-15 against the spread. You said this earlier. How does a team go 1-16 or 0-17 ATS and get worse? I don't think it's ever going to be defeated as a record. And I saw enough in 1 year too. Guys deserve some time. I thought Callahan mid-season was completely lost.
Absolutely.
Watching their games.
Absolutely. If there ever was a case for a one and done, and it's happened several times, you can't keep this guy around.
This is an audio version of the ugly as well. College basketball here. So Kentucky defeated Florida in an amazing basketball game early Saturday morning. It was 106-100 in regulation. Former Kentucky coach John Calipari in Arkansas played right after that against the number 1 team in the country, Tennessee. Well, guess what happened? Arkansas got their doors blown off 76-52, and here is what Calipari admitted to the media after the game.
The one thing I would do different in this game, and I all night tossed and turned, we didn't do a shoot around today. And I just felt our body time is noon, pretty early. If I had to do it over again, we would have gone shoot around. Because we had 3 or 4 guys like kind of no-show. So basically they slept, had breakfast, never really, you play this team, you better be coming in ready to fight.
Is this dude serious? You went to Tennessee, awesome program, number 1 team in the country, and you didn't do a shoot-around? I am absolutely convinced that the biggest upgrade in the country is who Kentucky has at head coach. Going from John Calipari to Mark Pope, there's nothing bigger.
Wow.
Nobody that I can think of in my lifetime has done less with more than that guy. He's an all-time bad basketball coach. And his team this year at Arkansas, loaded yet again, and they will do nothing whatsoever in the postseason.
Not even ranked. I looked at the poll today.
Yeah.
Good job.
There you go. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. How about 106-100 in regulation? Oh, God.
Good stuff.
It was awesome basketball.
Good stuff, baby.
I don't understand the Patriots. Sorry.
I'll never figure it out.
You're never going to win me over on this.
You never get me. And it was 3 times. You're right. What the Raiders did. Oh, it's right there for the Giants. Win the game. No one's going to remember these wins.
Nobody.
It was said by money, but again, it's the best way to say it. They traded the number 1 pick for the number 4 pick for nothing.
Yep.
For nothing. And they didn't have to do it.
Not at all.
There's ways around it. You just play lousy quarterbacks. You just sit there and you run the ball.
See, the Raiders could have done that down the stretch. They didn't have to play Aiden O'Connell.
Look what the Bills did. They called up Mike White and threw him in there.
That's right.
It's like he just woke up rolled out of bed.
Uh-huh.
And they did. Look what the Chiefs did. 38-0.
Sure. You never know, by the way, if you're the Patriots. Look, you might not like these quarterbacks that are coming out. One of these teams might. And they might say, here's our first-round pick. Here's a first-round pick next year. And, oh, by the way, we'll give you something else.
You had all year to go out there, bust your ass, and win some games. You didn't do it. Don't do it now.
Don't do it now.
There's no benefit.
No.
Don't win meaningless games.
It will never not be baffling to us. We'll get into the wild card round of the NFL playoffs up next. The money was coming in on one side earlier today, but that flipped. We'll run it down for you coming up here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, this is going to be a lot of fun. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Circa Survivor came to a conclusion yesterday, Paulie. 10 people got chopped. So 8 entries split it overall, each of them taking home more than $1.7 million. And one of the fortunate winners joins us in studio now, Stephen G. from the entry Pumaback?
Correct. Pumaback 9.
Pumaback 9 is with us from Montreal. You split the entry with 3 other friends, is that correct?
Correct. We're 4 total.
4 total. So, okay, who did you have yesterday?
We had the Colts.
And you were watching the game here at Circa?
Yeah, we were watching the game. We had the Colts with meatballs, and we were literally sitting at a table right next to them. It was extremely intense. It was like, I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I still can't believe it.
The range of emotions, like for that 3.5 hours, I mean, how do you even describe that?
I would say up until halftime, I was pretty relaxed. The last half an hour, so from 12:30 to 1, it was insanity. It was literally insanity. And we joke because our game went into overtime, and there was a huge third down where the Jags had possession. And when there was a sack, there was like a 15-yard sack. I jumped so high that I don't know if blood left my brain or shot up to my brain. I got lightheaded. I had to literally hold on to my buddies for the 4th down play because I couldn't stand up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
So you were going to win either way because you hedged.
Correct.
But is tie coming into your head at that point, though? At any point, you're thinking, oh, my God, tie, or even though Colts are up 3 with Jacksonville match, what could happen?
Honestly, going into the OT, I wanted the win because the Bears had already won. So I knew that 2 entries were already eliminated. Atlanta and Carolina were tied, so there was a big possibility for the 8. And even Tampa was kind of like at the end. So yes, the tie was somewhat in the back of my mind, but honestly, I wanted to win. I came here, I really wanted to win. I wanted to say I went 20-0. For me, that was obviously the money is important. Let's face it, and that's the reason why we hedged. But I wanted to walk away.
Well, what if that game ended in a tie? Did you guys hedge on betting that game, that result?
Correct.
And what number did you get?
We got 40-1.
40-1.
Good job.
And then overall, what else did you hedge with then? Did you take Jacksonville money line?
We took Jacksonville money line. So we wanted to. We didn't take the spread. I know that some of the meatballs took the spread. For us, we wanted a max payout. So we put less, and we put a Jags money line, which we came here early. We came here Thursday evening. We put our bet Friday morning, and I was at 195. The moment we put our bet, it went down to 170. So
I'm sure it was a significant bet.
It was.
Yeah,
It was. Yeah.
It was.
Good job. So it's interesting, though, that the people that hedged could have won both.
You could have won both, yeah.
But take the points, and same thing with the Saints.
That's
if you
right.
had Tampa as well. So that was a close call, and it was insanity, as you said. You had Seattle the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, in the 6-3 snooze. What was that like? You needed Seattle for all the marbles. It's 6-3. Bears have the ball late midfield.
We were watching it at my buddy Steve's house, and it was just literally everything was happening slow motion. It was just at a certain point, I'm like, okay, this is it. Like literally, this is it. I've been doing Survivors for almost 20 years. I know how this ends, and it was like, okay, this is it. Like I was kind of coming to peace with it, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, this year feels different. It really feels different. And I said, for me, the turning point was the KC game. KC game, Black Friday. The way it ended, I'm like, okay, we got this. We got this.
Okay, so you went through in your group of friends, how many overall sweats? I mean, because down the stretch, that's at least 2 or 3 that you just talked about. Overall in the year, how many did you have to go through?
Overall, our first one was week 5. We had Green Bay at Rams. Which kind of came down to the wire because Green Bay was up by 2 possessions. Rams were driving down the field with a chance to score, and there was a pick. So that was our first sweat. Then obviously the next one before the KC one was Minnesota at Jacksonville.
Oh boy!
where Darnold threw 4 picks, and we were like, you see, that's the game where we always lose. Like you look at the total yardage, it was like 450 to like 120.
Yes.
Those are the games we lose every year. It's like we're always on the wrong side of those games. And when that game came through, I was telling my buddy Francis, I'm like, okay, I think we got this. Like we got this. And then the KC was just, I was like, okay, this is not real.
Oh,
this is
the
literally
heart
not
rate,
real.
the heart rate for like 3 months for you through the roof.
If we look at my Whoop stats, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, and it has nothing to do with my workouts. It has nothing to do with my workouts.
It's only Survivor. Okay, so you've been doing this for 20 years. So that means even though from north of the border, lifelong NFL fan, I'm guessing.
I've been an NFL fan since '94.
Okay, same thing with your buddies, or did you have to talk them into playing Survivor?
Yes. So my buddy Francis, he's been an NFL fan, I think, since '96, '97. The other gentleman, Steve's been a NFL fan since I think '95. He's a huge Steelers fan. My friend Francis is a huge Falcons fan. I'm a big Green Bay fan.
Okay.
So it's actually kind of irony that yesterday the 2 losses were my team Green Bay and his team Atlanta.
Wow,
And we
yeah.
looked at each other as like, okay, this is it. Like this is it. And I said it before the game. I said, Atlanta and Green Bay are losing. And they were like, okay, Atlanta's possibility is like Green Bay, there's no chance they lose. I said, I don't know. I just have a feeling they're going to lose. We got lucky, obviously, with Love getting injured, but it worked out.
Did you bet like a money line parlay on the other teams to win, hoping that you would lose that bet?
No.
Just
For us-
Jacksonville on money line.
Yeah, for us, it was just a hedge. It was just a hedge.
So,
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you get together all year long and watch at the same person's house, or how did you guys come up? How did you decide on the same pick?
Okay, so basically, we started this journey 4 years ago. Okay, so 4 years ago, my buddy Francis, we've been doing pools for years. Local websites back in Canada, Survivors. And 4 years ago, he looked into Circa and Westgate, the Super Contest. So 4 years ago, we just entered the Circa Millions and Westgate Super Contest. And actually, back then, the Circa Millions, it was top 50 that got paid, and we finished 62nd. So we were like, oh, and we didn't enter in Survivor. So then he was like, Steve, there's a huge Survivor. I'm like, how much is it? I said, $1,000 a ticket. And I'm like, what's the payout? And I think the payout back then was, I think, $6 million.
Yeah.
So the following year, we bought 2 tickets. Both got eliminated week 1. We're like, okay. Then the following year, which was last year, we said, okay, we're going to buy 3 tickets. No, sorry, we bought 2 tickets. Sorry, my bad. We bought 2 tickets, and one of them got eliminated week 3. The other one went all the way until week 11, and we got eliminated. I was beyond heartbroken. And then this year, when there was 10 million guaranteed, we were always 3 individuals. So we said, okay, we want to buy an extra ticket or 2. Let's try to ask a 4th member. So I asked a buddy of mine at work who in the last couple of years started getting into the NFL, and he's like, okay, I'm in. So the way it works with the pick control, we're four individuals. Myself and Francis have pick control. So we're the ones, we have complete
Really?
pick control. The other 2 are basically, I wouldn't say silent partners because they're with us, but they quote unquote have no say.
And they're okay with that.
They're okay with that.
Obviously, they prefer you guys to make
They
the picks.
they prefer, and for them, that was the agreement from the get-go.
Okay.
So Francis and I, we've been taking the burden. But with that being said, I was telling our proxy, Tom, yesterday, I said, as we're getting closer and closer, after the KC game, I kind of wanted the input of the other guys. Just, like it was, the burden was getting heavy. It was really getting heavy.
Yeah.
And Francis and I have literally hundreds and hundreds of messages during the week. It was just,
It's all you talk about, right?
literally, that's all we talk about.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all we talk about.
What's your first purchase? What are you going to do with the money? Did you talk to the other guys? You have anything planned?
My wife, I owe her like a very big gift because literally the stress in the household. She we've been together since 2017. She knows that NFL Sundays for me are religion. Like it was kind of like from the get go. She's like, okay, this is what it is. But this year was really, everything was ramped up. And I would say from week 5, when we were down to 400, every week was like, we're here. Every week was a final week for us.
Sure.
Because in previous years, you got eliminated week 5, week 6, there's still 1,000 players. You're like, okay, it's far. But this year it went down under 500 really quick. So we're like, okay, we're here. We're really here. And then under 100, it was just like...
Yeah. It consumed your entire life, obviously. I mean, it does it to everybody.
It literally does.
Sure.
It literally does. And until like you actually participate in the contest, you don't really know the feeling. Like,
well said.
You really don't know the feeling.
Great job.
We're up against it here. Congratulations. That's dynamite to you and your partners, even the silent ones as well. That's Stephen G. from Pumabak back. One of the Circa Survivor winners yesterday, $1.7 million. What a feeling. What a day. Thank you. There you go. In Pocket Plays coming up next here on VSiN.